Jersey, Channel Islands, idyllic for a holiday, but surprisingly teachers there are facing many of the same issues in terms of raising standards as those on the mainland. New teacher, Patrick Renouf, is perhaps more anxious than most about raising standards in maths. His colleagues at Jandrin School are keen to share their methods of introducing new ideas in maths using visualisation.
Do they have to say that that's a half cup or just that's a half?
They can say both, because if they're looking at what that represents, it represents half, but it is a half cup. So it's important that children can do both.
So when you're talking about 2 and then you're going on to 2 cups,
Yeah.
is that a good time to perhaps introduce the idea of the maths story being just figures and symbols, and then the real story actually being manipulated with cups and objects?
Yeah, I think that's exactly the point. It might be worth actually if we demonstrated that with the cups with Patrick and did some on the board. Okay. So, Patrick, you'll need to move over here.
Okay.
Deputy Head and Maths mentor Ian George is leading the session. Patrick is about to act out his first sum using paper cups.
Okay, so let's start again. Okay. Actually, Lou, you do this one.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right then, 2. Add. 3.5. Take away. 1.5. Equals. And then, how much is there altogether?
4 cups.
That's very good.
Anyone who comes new to the school have been entrenched in their own styles of teaching. They're coming to a new school and a new system, a new structure. So basically we prioritise that. A new member of staff gets quality time with Ian or someone else who's been working on the scheme already. We give them time, we work alongside them.
One of the first things that children need to do is to recognise the numbers, to be able to write the numbers, and to be able to write and read and respond to the signs. The first one was this one, which when children see it, they will say, add. But the phrase that they will use in order to respond to it as an action, they'll say, get ready to get some more. If you see that sign, that means that you're getting ready to
Take away.
And the other sign that we used is this one, and this is quite important. This sign, children will say equals, but it means count the cups.
I think also, Ian, it's really important that when they are actually physically counting the cups at the end, that they realise the final part of the maths story is when they've seen that on the maths table as the final answer. How much is there here?
So if I wrote this first of all, right, and what are you doing?
I'm thinking about the invisible add sign and
Right.
moving it across to the maths table so that we've got something to start with.
Okay, and it's important that you show everybody what you've got so that they can check, and also they become an active part of what you're doing. So what have you picked up?
I picked up 1 whole cup and a quarter cup.
So how would you say that number?
Maybe 1 1/4.
1 1/4. Good. Right, and what are you doing now?
I'm getting ready to get some more.
And how many are you going to get?
I don't know yet because you haven't written it.
That's exactly the right answer. You don't know. And we want children to say, I don't know. And that's a very positive thing for children to say. And we'll do that.
3 cups.
3 cups. I would also make the point, perhaps, that if we're dealing with fractions as part of a math story, that we also use the vocabulary of 3 whole cups.
Okay.
So that they can see it as a whole. And that, again, might need some emphasis with the children or some explanation with the children as to what we mean by a whole cup.
So when they're doing their that's a cup, they
Yeah.
need to be doing that's a whole cup.
Yeah, because that's a cup, but it's a half cup. Okay, so that distinction definitely needs to be made. Okay, so let's just recap on what you've done so far. Can you read it out for me?
1 whole cup and a quarter cup.
Okay.
1 1/4. Add 3 whole cups.
Excellent.
Getting
you
ready
do?
to take away.
Ah, you see, I didn't even have to ask. And how many are you going to take away?
Don't know yet.
Excellent, good. And could you do that?
2 whole cups and a quarter cup.
So how do you say the whole of that number?
2 and a quarter.
2 and a quarter. Good. Right, and what are you doing there?
Seeing how many there are, how many cups I have altogether.
Right, you're actively counting them.
Yep.
Right, you're counting them. What does that sign tell you about here?
The math story is now coming to an end, so
Right,
I'm going
brilliant.
to work out how much there are altogether so I know what to write down.
So how much is there altogether?
2 cups.
2 cups. Excellent. Could you read out what that says for me, please? What it says, not what it means.
Right. 1 and a quarter, add 3, take away 2 and a quarter equals 2.
And what does it mean?
It's 1 cup, well 1 whole cup and a quarter, add 3 whole cups, take away 2 cups and a quarter cup equals 2 cups.
Well, I would say really important to say whole cups in that,
Yeah.
because you're talking about 1 whole cup and a quarter cup. So it's really important, even if it's not just 1 cup, that you are still saying 2 whole cups and a quarter cup equals 2 whole cups, if you're reading actually what it means.
Okay, so you're ready to get some more. I want you to get 2. How many cups?
2 cups.
Now, I want you to do this. No.
No?
No. Right, stop there. Because what have you, when you did that, when you
Mhm.
went to the resources table, what were you doing?
I was getting ready to get some more.
Right, but you're not getting ready to get some more.
No. I love it so much.
Yeah, but what do you love?
The number 2, or the 2 cups.
Yeah, you don't love the number 2,
But
you
it's
love
over
the
here.
2 cups and the 2 cups there. So when you make your action to those cups, it has to be to the cups that are on the maths table.
Right.
Okay?
Okay. And then I just come straight across and get some more.
Well, you don't.
No,
You
I don't
can't
know how
straight
many,
away.
I don't know how many times I'm going to...
Exactly.
Can't
You
you
don't know
now?
how many times. All right. Okay. So if you do that sign to those cups,
Right, so...
fantastic. Right. And I want you to do it that many times.
Okay. Does that mean I have to go across another 4 times, or just 3 times because I've gone once already?
It means you go another 3 times. You have to go 4 times altogether.
This is the
So
second time.
how many times have you gone now?
Twice.
Twice. How many more times have you got to go?
Another 2 times.
Another 2 times.
Another 2 cups.
Okay. And could you do that for me, please? And the answer is
8.
Actually, I would do that again, and not just the counting, and actually identify how many are there altogether.
So we've got that, and then 8 whole cups.
Yeah.
so. How much have you got here?
8 whole cups.
Right. And how much have you got here?
I've got 4 goings across with 2 cups.
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, what you've got there is 8 whole cups.
8 whole cups. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
So what you've got there is 8 cups. What you've got there is 8 cups.
Same value, different appearance.
Same value, different appearance. What we will also want to look at is how we can use these fractions in an ostensive way again to represent other numbers to children. So, for example, if we'd written on the board, or the children had written a half, add a half. So they'll have 2 halves. When they come to count on the maths table, what we found in the past is they can write one of 2 things. Some children will write 1, and some children, because they understand that that represents a half, 1 half, will actually write that, and they'll write it as 2 halves. What we encourage the children to do is to take the halves, or if they see a series of halves together, they'll glue it, and they'll stick the halves together, and they know that that then creates a whole cup. Okay, so 2 halves, 1 whole cup, same value, different appearance. Okay, eventually, with lots of practice, that can transfer onto cards as well. So if they see a half and a half, they'll see that as 2 halves going together and making a whole. Now this can be extended when we have, we introduce quarters as well. When you have a mixture of fractions, the easiest aspect of it is where you have ones which are going to go together quite easily. So first of all, they're going to look in this instance where you've got a half and 2 quarters. They'll look for the fractions which go together or are similar. So they'll look for, and encourage them to do it, to look for the quarter cups. And the quarter cups go together to make a half cup. Then you say to them, what have you got? You've got half a cup. Is there anything on the maths table that could go together with. It goes together with the other half cup, because you've now got a half cup, you've now got another half cup, you glue them together, what have you got? You've got a whole cup. But they have to start from a consistent point of gluing the cups together, looking at the signs, imagining the cups, seeing the signs, imagining cups, gluing them together, thinking that. Then in the abstract, they may still be thinking about cups, or they may be thinking about signs, but they're going to formulate that themselves. They're bound to use the experiences they've had, but it needs constant reinforcement. So what we're going to use is a combination of whole cups and fraction cups, and we'll leave it with just the multiplication sign.
Okay.
Okay. So that number is
1 whole cup and a quarter.
so 1 1/4 cups.
Let's
So-
kiss, 'cause I liked it so much.
Excellent, right? And what does that number represent?
5 walks from the table to the maths table.
Brilliant.
So,
The way Patrick's laying it out is really important as well, because sometimes the children just jumble it all together,
Yeah.
and it's nice to, because then you can backtrack and they can recount how many trips they've actually made.
Yep. Right, you finished?
Yep.
Ah, no.
Sorry, oh no, you haven't told me.
I haven't told you that.
No, I
Okay.
did, sorry. So 5 whole cups and then 5 quarters.
Right, so before you do count it fully, can I ask you this question? If you were looking at the 5 whole cups, would you allow the children to write down the number of whole cups first of all?
I wouldn't, not yet.
Right, this is something that children, I found in experience, tend to do. They look at the whole cups and they'll say, okay, right, I know there's 5 whole cups, so they'll write 5, and then they think, right, I'll start thinking about the fraction cups and gluing them together.
So more glue and stick.
I must admit, I usually say to them at that point, well, put that
Yeah.
half to one side.
Yeah.
Now have a look at what else you can see, and they'll find that they can make another
half.
Yeah.
half
So
of the
otherwise you end
other.
up
And it's very
holding-
hard to manipulate, and then they
Quite a lot.
associate putting the 2 halves together
Together.
to make a whole. So you're actually going through 2 different processes rather than just trying to make a whole with 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then they hopefully make that distinction.
Well,
fine.
do you help them make that distinction
Yeah.
if they can? Yeah.
And then, so I've got another whole cup, eventually,
Yep.
and a quarter.
So with that quarter, can you do anything with that quarter?
No.
No, and that's the question you ask the children, so that's left on its own. So now you're in a position to count the whole cups.
Which would be 6. But can I just ask, would
Yeah.
you, once you've glued this together and got the halves, would you actually encourage them to go and substitute it for
No.
a half or not?
No, if
want
you
to
get
keep that over there.
into substitution, then that can confuse the issue. They may think that if they've got those 4 quarters, it's suddenly changed into something else when you move it over there.
The scheme's still in its infancy, but in a neighbouring school there's hard evidence that the vast majority of children expected to get level 1 in maths achieve secure 2s, not to mention attitude and understanding improvements noted by all teachers.